Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko. Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta. Sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa
Tears, Diamonds, and Destiny, the Eala bombshell that broke the internet. I've covered tennis for years and witnessed incredible comebacks, shocking upsets, and jaw-dropping moments that made headlines worldwide. But what just happened inside the Manuka Doctor Arena in Auckland, New Zealand, was something entirely different. This wasn't just another tennis story. It was the moment a 20-year-old Filipina sensation transformed from a rising star into a global icon. Imagine a closed-door press conference, the chairman of New Zealand's most prestigious luxury brand standing on stage, cameras flashing, a room full of media insiders expecting a typical corporate announcement, and then, without warning, this titan of industry. Then, completely unexpectedly, he breaks down full-on sobbing, tears streaming down his face, hugging Eala like she's his own daughter. Holding her so tightly you'd think he never wanted to let go. The entire room falls silent. Journalists who've covered everything from wars to royal weddings stand with their mouths open, trying to process what they're witnessing. But why? What could provoke such an emotional eruption from a man who represents 6 generations of New Zealand's most elite jewelry dynasty? The answer lies in a gift worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, a secret partnership poised to launch Alex into the stratosphere of global sports marketing, and a human connection so genuine that it reminded everyone present that behind the deals and brand endorsements, real people form real bonds. Welcome to Champions Tennis, and buckle up, because this Eala update is unlike anything you've seen before. This isn't just about tennis anymore, it's about legacy, family, diamonds, and a young woman capturing hearts faster than she's crushing forehands. The ASB Classic had just wrapped what many are calling the most exciting week in the tournament's recent history, with Filipino flags waving everywhere and Auckland buzzing with electric energy. Eala had just completed a semi-final run that had the tennis world sitting up and taking notice. While fans streamed out of the stadium, still reeling from the incredible matches, something extraordinary was happening behind closed doors. A select group was being ushered into a private room at the arena for a deliberately vague invitation promising a special announcement from Partridge Jewelers, the tournament's official sponsor. If you're not familiar with Partridge, it's no ordinary jewelry shop. 160 years of history, 6 generations of family craftsmanship, dealing exclusively in Rolex, Patek Philippe, and diamonds so rare most people will never see them, let alone own them. When Partridge calls a press conference, you show up. Grant Partridge walked onto that stage carrying the weight of those 160 years, 5th-generation chairman, custodian of a legacy predating his great-great-grandfather. Usually composed and professional, this time something emotional simmered beneath his surface. Beside him stood Eala, fresh from her semi-final run, humble and gracious as always, completely unaware that her life was about to change forever. The room fell silent. You know that moment when the air itself seems to hold its breath? That's what it felt like. And then Grant Partridge leaned into the microphone and delivered a bombshell that would dominate headlines for days. Without wasting time on corporate pleasantries or business jargon, he looked directly at Alex, then turned to the gathered media and made an announcement that left the room stunned. Partridge Jewelers was gifting Alexandra Eala its latest high jewelry collection, valued at hundreds of thousands of New Zealand dollars. Let that sink in. This wasn't a simple watch or a bracelet for a special occasion, but a bespoke collection of high jewelry, the kind that graces royalty and walks the red carpet at the Oscars, crafted by master jewelers over months of painstaking work. And all of it was being given to a 20-year-old tennis player who hadn't yet won her first WTA title. The gasp in the room was unmistakable as seasoned journalists exchanged looks of pure disbelief, because this level of sponsorship is virtually unheard of at such an early stage in an athlete's career, where most must first win Grand Slams, spend years in the top 10, and repeatedly prove their marketability. Yet Partridge Jewelers clearly saw something different in Alex. It was an acknowledgement of her powerful appeal to Asian audiences. Grant explained that Partridge Jewelers sees in Alex something that goes far beyond tennis. They see a cultural bridge, someone who embodies excellence, grace, humility, and determination, and a figure they believe represents the future of global sports marketing. Then came the real revelation. The company is already deep in negotiations for a long-term partnership that could make Eala the official face of Partridge Jewelers. Imagine what that means. Alex featured on billboards from Auckland to Manila to New York, appearing in glossy magazine spreads draped in diamonds worth more than most people's homes, launching new collections, attending galas, and walking red carpets at the world's most prestigious events. This isn't just a sponsorship, it's an elevation into an entirely different stratosphere of celebrity, placing Alex among the biggest names in sports history. Maria Sharapova had her luxury brand partnerships, Serena Williams transformed herself into a global brand, and Roger Federer became the iconic face of Rolex, and now, at just 20 years old, Eala is being courted to join those elite ranks. The vote of confidence from a 160-year-old family business is nothing short of extraordinary. It was absolutely staggering, but this is where the story shifted from exciting business news into something deeply and profoundly human. After Grant made his announcement, he handed the microphone to Alex, and anyone who follows her knows she is poised beyond her years, articulate, thoughtful, and carrying herself with remarkable maturity, yet genuinely humble and never one to oversell herself or get caught up in hype. Her response was perfect. She didn't deliver a rehearsed PR speech crafted by handlers. Instead, she spoke from the heart, and the genuine emotion in every word was impossible to miss. Alex spoke about the incredible warmth she had felt from the people of New Zealand and the Filipino community in Auckland, who made her feel as if she were playing a home match in Manila rather than thousands of miles away. She expressed deep honor at being trusted by a family with such a powerful legacy, and the sincerity in her voice was palpable. Even as she was being presented with diamonds worth a fortune, the grace, humility, and gratitude she showed completely shifted the energy in the room. This was no longer about money or marketing, it became a moment of real human connection, and that was when Grant Partridge lost his composure. Despite years of attending corporate events with flawless composure, he simply couldn't hold back the emotion. His eyes filled with tears, his face crumpled, and right there on stage before cameras and media from around the world, Grant Partridge broke down and wept. He didn't turn away or try to hide it. Instead, he turned toward Alex and pulled her into an embrace that will be replayed and analyzed for years to come. This wasn't a polite business hug or a staged photo-op handshake, it was the embrace of a father holding his daughter. He clutched her tightly, shoulders shaking with sobs, and Alex hugged him back with the same genuine warmth and affection. Photographers went wild, flashbulbs exploding like fireworks, yet in that moment it felt as though neither of them noticed. It was a raw, unscripted display of human emotion, reminding everyone in the room why sports matter and why partnerships like this can transcend business, because sometimes a connection forms that rises above contracts and expectations. To understand why this moment carried such power, you have to understand Grant Partridge himself. He is a man who speaks constantly about legacy and family, having built his entire business on the idea of passing something precious down through generations. Grant doesn't see his role as merely running a company. He views himself as a steward of his family's heritage, responsible for protecting it, growing it, and eventually handing it to his children just as it was entrusted to him. When he looks at Alex, he sees someone carrying a similar weight. She isn't playing tennis solely for herself, she bears the hopes and dreams of an entire nation on her young shoulders. Every time she steps onto the court, more than 110 million Filipinos are watching, hoping and praying for her success. She represents something far greater than one individual, just as Grant represents something larger than a single businessman. That parallel clearly struck him on a deeply personal level. In Alex, Grant recognized the values he holds most dear: family, hard work, humility, respect for those who came before, and the determination to build something that will endure. His emotion wasn't manufactured for the cameras. It was the raw, genuine reaction of a man who had found someone who truly understands what it means to carry a legacy forward. So why is all of this happening now? Why is a New Zealand luxury powerhouse placing such a massive bet on a 20-year-old from the Philippines? The answer lies in the extraordinary week Alex just had at the ASB Classic, where her performance in Auckland became the catalyst for everything that followed. Eala didn't merely participate in the tournament, she announced her arrival as a legitimate force in professional tennis, storming through the draw with some of the most impressive tennis of her career and defeating opponents with a blend of power, precision, and remarkable mental toughness. Her level of play had commentators openly comparing her to established stars. But the defining moment came in her quarterfinal clash against Donna Vekic. Vekic is no ordinary opponent, she is a battle-tested veteran who has gone deep in Grand Slams, reached the Wimbledon semifinals, cracked the top 20, and spent years handling pressure at the highest level. On paper, she should have been able to manage Alex comfortably, but that's not how it unfolded. Alex dismantled her with fearless shot-making, a devastating drop shot she has been refining, and a pace that came off her racket like a cannon. Her movement was sharp and aggressive, her decision-making far more mature than her years, and she wasn't merely hanging with Vekic, she was outplaying her. That win sent a clear message across the tennis world. Alex wasn't just announcing that she belonged, she was declaring herself a genuine threat. Although her run ended in the semifinals against China's Wang Xinyu, the level she displayed throughout the tournament was unmistakably top 20 caliber. Coaches were impressed, former players in the commentary box were raving, and most importantly, the atmosphere in the stands was electric. The Filipino community in New Zealand showed up in force for every match, celebrating each point as if it were a championship moment, with flags waving, cheers echoing through the stadium, and an energy that felt impossible to contain. The energy they brought created an atmosphere unlike anything the ASB Classic had seen in years, and Grant Partridge was there to witness it all firsthand. He saw the passion, the devotion, and the sheer scale of the following Alex commands, and that was the moment the realization clicked for Partridge Jewelers. This wasn't just a talented tennis player, it was a movement. Alex represented someone capable of connecting with millions across Asia and far beyond, a once-in-a-generation marketing opportunity paired with a genuinely special human being. Suddenly, the decision to go all in on Alex made perfect business sense, but more than that, it felt right on a deeply personal level. And as if the weekend couldn't get any better, there was one final, remarkable milestone. Thanks to her semi-final run in Auckland, Eala officially cracked the top 50 in the world rankings. She now sits at world number 49. Let that sink in. The girl from the Philippines who trained at the Rafa Nadal Academy, who climbed through the junior ranks, battled through qualifiers and challenger events, and refused to give up despite injuries and setbacks, is now ranked 49th in the world. The truth is, this is only the beginning. Nobody truly knows what will happen next, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes sports so beautiful and compelling. That's why we watch, because anything can happen once the first ball is struck. Alex could bow out in the first round, or she could catch fire and go on a magical run that has the entire world talking. The potential is there, the talent is undeniable, and the preparation has been thorough. Now it all comes down to execution when the lights are brightest and the stakes are highest. What we do know is that Eala has already won in ways that go far beyond the scoreboard. She has won the heart of a luxury brand chairman who now sees her as family, earned the respect of her peers and legends like Nadal, and captured the admiration of millions of fans who see their own dreams reflected in her journey. She has also earned the right to compete at the very highest level of her sport, which is all any athlete can ask for. The journey from that emotional press conference in Auckland to the Australian Open main draw has been swift and extraordinary. In just a matter of days, Alex has gone from promising prospect to certified star. The world is watching now, the spotlight growing brighter by the moment, and through it all she continues to carry herself with a poise and maturity far beyond her years. Grant Partridge's tears were never just about business or marketing, they were about recognizing greatness in its earliest form, seeing potential that transcends rankings and results, and connecting with someone who understands what it truly means to carry a legacy forward. That raw, emotional moment was a reminder that beneath the sponsorships and brand deals, sports is ultimately about humanity. To its core, this story is about human lives, human connections, and human dreams. As Alex prepares for Australia, she carries far more than diamonds, and an improved ranking she carries the belief of everyone who has invested in her journey. From the coaches who recognized her potential as a child, to Rafa Nadal who shared his wisdom, to Grant Partridge who openly wept as he placed his faith in her future, and to the millions of Filipino fans who see her as their champion, Alex is surrounded by unwavering support and love. That kind of pressure might crush some or paralyze a lesser athlete, but everything we've seen from Alex suggests she is built for this moment. She has been preparing for it her entire life. The sacrifices, the relentless training, the losses that forged resilience, and the victories that built confidence have all led her here. When Alex steps onto the courts of Melbourne Park, she won't be representing only herself or even just the Philippines, she will be representing everyone who has ever dared to dream big despite impossible odds. She will be showing young girls across Asia and around the world that you can come from anywhere and compete with anyone if you work hard enough and believe deeply enough. The diamonds from Partridge Jewelers are stunning, but they do not define Alex. What defines her is the fire in her heart, the precision of her forehand, the intelligence of her shot selection, and the grace she shows in both victory and defeat. The jewelry is merely a symbol, a physical reflection of the value she has already proven she possesses. What others see in Alex, the diamonds, the accolades, the sponsorships, are just symbols of the value she carries. The real treasure is the journey itself and the person she is becoming along the way. And now, we stand at the start of what could be a breakthrough season for Eala. Everything is in place. Her preparation is complete, her support system is rock solid, and the stage is set for the defining moments of her career, the battles, the challenges, and the victories that will shape her legacy. Will she seize this opportunity? Will the Australian Open become the arena where Alex truly announces herself to the tennis world? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the world is watching. Grant Partridge watches with tears of pride in his eyes, Rafa Nadal watches with the satisfaction of a mentor witnessing his student rise, and 110 million Filipinos watch with hearts full of hope and pride. Alex has already given us unforgettable moments, and somehow, it feels like she is just getting started. Now, it's your turn. What do you think about Grant Partridge's emotional breakdown at that press conference? Was it a genuinely touching moment of human connection, or partly the weight of making such a monumental business decision? And here's the big question. Will this incredible jewelry sponsorship and the spotlight that comes with it add pressure to Alex's game, or will it give her confidence knowing that major brands believe in her future? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let's start the conversation. If you're as excited as I am to watch Alex compete at the Australian Open and see her wearing those Partridge diamonds, smash that like button now. Let's get this video to 5,000 likes to show our support for Alex. And if you haven't subscribed to yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a single update on Alex Eala and the biggest stories in tennis. We bring you exclusive analysis, breaking news, and insider perspectives you won't find anywhere else. This is Champions Tennis, bringing you the stories that matter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll track every moment of Alex's Australian Open campaign. Surprise! Excited! Abu Dhabi!
Kamusta mga kapong Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala Abu Dhabi Open